All right, so in this video, we're going to be talking about the new Placement Genie feature. And the purpose of the Placement Genie is to help you optimize your placement modifiers, especially if you've got like single keyword campaigns where you can really have a lot of control with targeting different placements like top of search or product pages. And I mentioned in the previous video a little bit around some of the new inline editing capabilities of the bid override table. So basically any of these top of search or product page values you can change, and then you can update those through this kind of edit placement modifiers button. It's just going to take whatever value you change these to and apply those to that campaign in your bulk file when you click that button. But when you sync the bid override table, or when you initially run this step 3 initialize bulk file, you're going to have all these placement modifiers in here if you have any that have values. So for example, let's say when you initialized it, this one had 100% placement modifier, then you're going to have a value there just like that. If this one has 50 here, there's some conditional formatting there, but this one shows up in red. So basically, if you come to your bid override table and it's kind of initialized, the color coding scheme you'll see means yellow is it's a single keyword campaign, and only the single keyword campaigns have the ability to use the auto calculators for the modifiers, and I'll explain what that is here in a second. The pink means that there is a modifier applied already, meaning it's not a zero value. So to see those again, you just click this plus button, and you're going to have your top of search and then product page modifiers right here. The bid strategy is also here just for reference, and then you've got your top of search and product pages data off here. And again, keep in mind these are campaign level metrics, so that's why the single keyword campaigns are really the best to use if you're talking about modifying your bid modifiers, just in the sense that there's a lot of factors then in calculations that come into play. We've got a keyword here. It's kind of a longer tail keyword. You see it's a single keyword campaign. We know that as well. If we click on this rank robot, and it's got the keywords per campaign column here, and you can see it's 1. Currently we're ranked 8 for it. And what we want to do is modify our top of search modifier right here using one of these kind of algorithmic formulas. So these are based on some just kind of best practices in the Amazon space currently for modifying your bids. This one at the top for target ACoS is pretty popular. There's been some good blog articles written on it. Basically a ratio or weighted ratio based calculation that factors in your placement metrics for how that target's performing in each placement. And what you can do with this is it's going to allow you to pick one of the 3 here. These other 2 related to saying if you want to favor like top of search versus product page, you can set a top of search for 800%, and it's just going to calculate what your base bid needs to be. So I'll run two kind of examples here back to back. This first one for target ACoS, you're just going to leave it at target ACoS, and then you're going to come up here. If you want to see just the single keyword campaigns, that's kind of a good first step. You can just click this button here, and it's just going to quickly give you that short list. All right, and then you can go down through and say, okay, these are the ones that based on, and this was originally 0, so I'm gonna change that back. But you can say these are the ones that I want to kind of focus on. There's also some advanced features here where you can filter just the top of search performers versus your product page performers. We've got kind of some default criteria built in. You can also just visually look at it and kind of tell which ones are doing better, but let's look at it real quick here. So this one here, for example, let's say we want to optimize this guy. All you're going to do, come up and click boosted placement genie, optimize check modifiers. So you're going to click that button there, and you're going to see a calculation is done where it gives us the new base bid. All right, so this is the new base bid that is less. If we go over, you can see we were bidding at $1, our original bid. Our new calculation inputs here off to the right over here, now that we can see our kind of new bid preview, that's what it would be if we'd go down that route. But if we want to optimize our placements using this target ACoS formula, which again is single keyword campaigns using the target level metrics, it's going to give you the base bid, and then it's going to give you the placement modifiers. So once you've kind of done this for all of the individual targets that you want to optimize, then all you would do is come up and click the placement Genie, edit single keyword bids and placement modifiers, and it's going to actually take the bid and the modifier and apply that to your target. So for these specific targets, it'll apply that, and it'll apply these then to the campaign. So it's quite a bit there to kind of grasp. It's easier if you just try it out and then go to your bulk file and see the change that's made. That's kind of the intent, is just to run a calculation for you here in this section to give you the information that this formula tells you that you should be optimizing at, and this would be 147%. Top of search modifier with a 0.49 kind of base bid for this specific target. Pretty much the process. Now, if you wanted to do the 800% top of search, you could just change it like this. Same concept, but just a bit different formula. Hopefully that gives you kind of some indication of how Placement Genie works. Again, the checkbox here is the most critical thing for this kind of formula-based process. If you don't have these checked, then it's not going to apply anything. And then same kind of rule applies though with the inline editing. You'll always be able to kind of change these manually. And when you click the bid override and then edit placement modifiers, it's always just going to take what you have at that given time, and after you click that button, it'll apply that modifier. So you got to be a little careful if you're using kind of this automation in conjunction with wanting to tweak your modifiers from the bid override table manually. You've got kind of a series of operations there that you want to kind of pay attention to. And a good way to kind of jump back and forth between the bid override tables, you can always click on the override itself and then just come up and click find target or campaign. Then it's going to hop over to the bid override table, find that target, and then you can scroll up a little bit and see here, here's your campaign level, and then right underneath there is going to be where your bid modifiers show up. So those are your two bid modifiers. For the top search is this one that says top, product page is there. So that's in a nutshell the Placement Genie. Hope you like it. Cheers.